Hey guys, so let's talk childhood first. I don't think I turned the mic on, did I? Oh no, I did. Well, there we go. Hey guys, so let's talk childhood for a second. When I was younger, I always loved sports. Whether it be baseball, soccer, basketball, you name it. I loved to participate. And one of those things I would participate in was archery. Not because I enjoyed it necessarily, but because my father had an old bow from like the 1980s and I found it one day. I was going through my basement and I found this quiver with these wooden arrows and this fiberglass bow. And of course, I just thought, you know what would be really cool? What would be really cool, younger Tyler? If I just took out this bow and started shooting stuff. You know, nothing wrong can go there. So of course, now I have the idea that firing arrows off at just random things is great and a perfect thing for a 10-year-old to do. With a bow in my left hand and a quiver full of arrows on my back, I was like a prepubescent Robin Hood, minus the skill. So once I snuck the bow out of the house, I decided to go off and start firing arrows at things. I started firing arrows at pretty much anything I could see. Wait, hold up. Anything that was not alive, like people or animals. Okay, continue. So while I was firing arrows at miscellaneous things, I thought that it was pretty lame to just be stuck on a horizontal plane of arrow trajectory. So of course, I decided to think vertically. Let me just say that I was not the smartest kid on the block a lot of the time, and a chubby 10-year-old boy who has no experience in archery firing arrows upwards, that doesn't sound like it's gonna go well. And boy, did it not. At the time, I could not see what would be wrong with firing arrows straight up and then looking up to see where they landed. Oh, no. Hey, man.
Should I come back later?
Give me like 3 minutes.
Okay.
Give me like 3 minutes.
I'll make it 3 minutes.
Anyway, a kid firing arrows straight up into the air was not really the smartest thing to do. So, of course, I would continue. I was always so amazed at how high they went and then how far off they were from the starting point, because they did not go straight up, I later found out. After a few days of just practicing this, I decided I was going to go for the big one. I am going to pull the bow back as far as I can and fire it straight up. So what I did was I got in my position. I pulled the bow back. I was all set. I went up, released, and I could not find the arrow again. That was until about 30 seconds later when I heard a very loud noise. Turns out my excitement for firing the big one was that I leaned back way too much and actually fired the arrow backwards instead of up. This led to the arrow still going pretty high, but also led to me hitting something that I did not mean to. I'm waiting for some sign of the arrow, and I hear this loud metal sound. Immediately, I turn around, terrified at what happened. I look, and I don't see anything wrong, but I see the arrow just laying on the ground. I go over immediately and pick it up to make sure nobody finds the evidence, until I notice that there's something there that cannot be hidden. So it turns out that loud metal noise was the arrow smashing into the minivan that we owned, right onto the hood. Now where it hit was about 6 inches away from the windshield. So once I saw that, I was freaking out. But then once I saw it didn't hit the windshield, it was such a sign of relief. Now when you're 10, you always try to play stuff off, that you didn't do it or that it just kind of appeared. So I made sure not to tell anyone at all about this incident and completely forget it until the next day when my mother came to me and asked what happened to her van. Of course, when you're 10, you play it off like you don't know at all what could happen. It was obviously a sign from God until she called me out on it, and let's just say that I was not allowed to use the bow anymore. Point is, I went back to the bow about 1.5 years ago, and I found out that it was actually cracked. So, part of the memory's gone, but the hole in the van is definitely not. If you want to discuss more about this topic, make sure to leave it in a comment down below. If you like this, make sure to share support, and if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. I'm Tyler. Until next time, I'll see you around.